Okay.
So your stylus is over there.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're going to start with the first page. This complex numbers are not on the test anymore. That's good news. That's the little eyes. So they're off the test. So these are exponents. So anyway, a base to the 0 power always equals 1. So if I have 4 to the 0, that's going to be 1. If I have x to the 0, that will be 1. Now pay attention to, if I have 2x to the 0, well, x to the 0 will be 1, so that'll be 2 times 1, which will be 2. That's 0. If I have a million,
6 zeros.
I'm doing it. To the 0 power, it'll just be 1. So I'm sort of drilling that into you. So we're good with that. And the other group, we're all good. So to multiply like bases, you add the exponents, right? And to divide bases, you subtract the exponents. To raise a power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So if we have x squared and we have 3 of them, you can see that's going to be x to the 6th. To find the power of a product, you multiply both this way. And to find the power of a quotient, you subtract the exponents. But you can also do this. Now, this is where it gets a little confusing. A base to a negative exponent is the reciprocal of the base raised to the value of the negative exponent. So if we change the floor, we change the sign. So if I have x to the minus 4th, and similarly, if I have 1 over x to the minus 4th, that's a 4. I'll make it a 2 so it's easier to see. I change the floor, I change the sign. Okay, and this one's a little confusing. Now, normally, if you have a square root, if they indicate this signal, that means it's a square root.
They'll never put a 2 up there, though.
They'll never put a 2 up there. You just have to, you can assume that if you see this, it's a square root, okay? If it's a cube root, they'll put like a 3 in there or a 4. Now, this one's also a little tricky, and I have a little Mrs. Hessler clue for this one. So if you have x to the 1/3, we have a tree service here in Bethel Park, and it's down and out. Oh, Jacob! Yay! Tell me how many inches you got way out there.
So at the most, we have over 2 feet right now.
Oh, wow.
It's a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, it's been fun trying to shovel our driveway.
Okay, I went over 2 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So in a fractional exponent, this is the secret. There's a tree service around us, and it's called down and out. So what I mean by that is,
You tell them we're just doing the Algebra 2 one.
yeah, we're doing the Algebra 2 packet, Jacob. Glad you're on board. You have a story to tell your grandchildren. I remember when there was 2 feet of snow. Okay, so the 3 goes down, so it's the cube root of x to the first. Does that make sense to everybody? So it's down and out, and similarly, it will be up and under. If you want to change that back, you put the 3 up and under. Does that make sense? Down and out and up and under. I know it's a little corny. Everybody good with that? Okay, so I want to do a couple book ones. Okay. So everybody here is saying, well, he had 2 feet. We only, oh, Need my package.
I can hand it to you.
1 second. Okay. So the first one I want to do is on 952, number 15. So this is going to be a little harder. But remember, down and out and up and under. Okay. So here we have, and this is in module 1. So they give us a to the 11 over 12. And so we have to change that to a radical. So it'll be down and out, but also let's multiply each of these by 12 because we have bigger numbers here. They made this one a little tricky. So when we multiply 12 over 12, that's just multiplying by 1. So we have a to the 121 over 144. So this will be down and out. So that'll be 144 a to the 121st, which is answer choice B. Is that
Yeah,
right?
this one's B. It's a to the 132nd power, the 144th root of that.
Oh, this one is 11 times 12 is 132.
Yeah.
My mistake. So this will be down and out. So the 144 will go over here. This will be 132. Sorry about that. And so this is answer choice B. So take a moment to process that. They were nasty that they made you change the numbers. So does this everybody on this group see it? Just thumbs up. Silas, you're good? Okay. Other group, everybody good? I lost Jacob for some reason.
Maybe his connection came off.
Yeah, I don't have Jacob.
Did you look up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Jacob.
We have a lot of people on tonight, so it's hard to.
So this is all good? This problem is good. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to do another one. We're going to do page 242, number 17. Because I like to do the book problems because that's sort of what you're going to see. Oh, wait, no, that 242. Yeah, there's a reason I'm doing this one. And let me explain this. Okay, number 17. If you get a problem like this, we're going to pick numbers. So we're going to walk through this together. So the question says, if the object of mass is moving at a speed v, the kinetic energy is given by this equation. So it's the kinetic energy equals 1/2 mv squared. If the mass of the object is halved and the speed is doubled, how does the kinetic energy change? Well, instead of doing the algebra, let's pick numbers, okay?
M1, M2, B1,
Yeah.
B2.
Yeah. So we're going to call M1 2. And I'm going to call V1 3. Just simple, easy numbers. because I don't want you to be stymied by this kind of problem. So that means the kinetic energy will be 1/2 times 2 times 3, which is 3.
It's squared, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, we're squaring this. Sorry. My bad. Okay, so that'll be 9.
So you cross that 3 out, I guess. The 3 squared is 9, so we don't need both of them there.
Yeah. So the answer is
Oh,
9.
the answer is 9. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, now we're going to change it. So M2, what are we going to do to it? We're going to have it so it's only 1, but the volume, V2,
Velocity?
yeah, the velocity, sorry. The velocity, we're going to, what does it say? Double it. So the velocity will now be 6. And so then we put this in a new equation. KE equals 1/2 times 1 times 6 squared, which would be 18. And so now we can see very easily that the answer has to be C. Does that make sense to this group? So picking numbers, you won't have to go into all the algebra. It'll make it very easy. Let me see the other group. Thanks, Jacob. I'm trying to get to the other group. Okay, Gabby, Julia, Logan, Silas, everybody good with this? This is a strategy. That's why I put this one in here. Okay, so let's go to another one in the book. So I want to do 240, 237. I'll write it down. It's the example at the top. It's number 9. So find that problem. It's a little bit tricky. Which of the following is equivalent to, so I have 1 over the square root of x to the nth power, where n is bigger than 0. So remember, if I mentioned before, if it's just this, it's a square root. So we could call this 1 over x to the 1/2. Does that make sense? Oh, that's hard to write on this. Okay. So now I changed the floor, I changed the sign. So this will be x to the minus 1/2 when I bring it up here times n. And now I can multiply these and I will get answer choice B. Okay, does that take a minute and process that? Is that good for this group? Good. Gabby, you're good, and Logan, thumbs up. Okay. In my other group, Katie, you're good. Okay. Sometimes, I don't
I
know.
think it's easier to use the stylus to click those for whatever.
Yeah, I know.
The
but I-
fingers are hard.
But I lost Jacob. Where do
No,
I?
he's there somewhere.
You're there somewhere, Jacob.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like kind of like click
Yeah.
around until I see everybody.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah, we know you're not disappearing. We're just bad at Zoom.
We're bad at Zoom, or you're in a vortex, polar, obviously. Okay. All right, that's good. Let's go on to the next page in the packet. It's good when we're having fun with this, I guess. So I'd like you to do these first 3, following the rules, and you can refer back to them. It is sort of hard because we have to cover all the rules you ever had in your whole life in math, so it's a lot. Okay, let's go over these. So the first one would be B, the second one would be B, and the third one we subtract. So it would be D, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody good with those? Okay, now how do I? This group good? Okay, so let's go to a book one. So I want to try page 1065, number 8. So give it a go. Give it a try. Can you read to me these numbers? It's m to the fourth.
M to the fourth times Q to the fourth times Z to the -1 quantity times the quantity M Q to the fifth Z to the third.
So we will get B, m to the fifth, because I have to add the 4 and the 1. The Q will be to the ninth. And then the Z will be squared. So everybody get B here? We're good? Okay, good. This group B is good? Okay, we're also going to do another one in the book. We're going to go to 731, number 6. So give it a try. So everybody, Sailor, you're good? It's A. Dominic, good. Jacob, good. Thank you. And so then this group, everybody good. Silas, good. Logan, Julia, Gabby, good. Okay, we're going to do one more book one. We're going to go to page 360. Sorry. Number 16. Okay. So this is what we have. This is going to be an up and under. We have, this is the seventh root, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Of x to the ninth, y to the ninth. So we're putting the 7 up and under. So that'll be x to the ninth over 7, y to the ninth over 7. And we can combine that by the rules of exponents to get x, y to the 9/7, which is answer choice B. Everybody get that one? Silas, you're good? Logan? Good. Okay, across the world. Katie, you're good with this one, honey? Okay, I've got everybody still but Jacob.
He's somewhere.
There's Jacob. You got it. Your smile gleams all the way to Pittsburgh. How about that? Okay, next page. Oh, let's go back to the packet. So trying to get every contingency, if we look at number 4, back in the packet, I'm sorry, we're doing this. So if we have 3x squared and we're squaring it, do I have to square that 3 that's in the parentheses? The answer is yes. So that'll become 9x squared. We're working inside out. And so this,
Wait, you squared the x squared, didn't you?
yeah, that should be,
9x to the 4th.
yeah. And so I squared again, and that'll become 81x to the 8th, which is D. Everybody good with that? Sailor, you're good with that one? Good. Dominic, Jacob, and other group, all good. Thank you for the thumbs. Okay. So now the next page. Okay, let's try this one. It's polishing up the math. So we do have to square that 4. So we'll have 4x squared minus 16x squared, which will give us negative 12x squared, which is answer choice A. Thank you.
Is there a trap sort of
Yeah.
answer?
This C would be your trap, right? A lot of kids would just say, oh, you're taking that and subtracting it. But not really, because you have to square that 4. Okay, so let's try this one. Here we have a negative 3 times 2, which is a negative 6, a squared, because I added that, b to the minus 3. Well, I changed the floor, I changed the sign to accommodate to the answer choices, and that will be B3 down here. This becomes down here. And so the answer for this one is C. Good with everybody here? Okay, good. Good with this group? Okay. Let's try the next one. If I have x to the minus 1, y is 1, what does y equal? Remember, we're going to get a couple of these. So we cross this off. I'm trying to get the y to stand alone. So change the floor, they change the sign. That's 1 over x. Y equals 1. Multiply both sides by x. So y would equal x. Thank you, College Board, for 10 points, right? Not so bad. Okay. Good here too. Silas, you appear in both worlds for some reason. Okay. Try this one using the down and out method. I mean, if that down and out helps you, maybe you already knew how to do these, but try this one. So Gabby, you're good. Julia, awesome, guys. Katie, you're good. Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to be sure I didn't lose anybody. Okay, I've lost Jacob temporarily.
He's up there.
He's where?
He's right there.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry, we just have a lot of people on tonight and
Yeah.
we're Zoom handicapped.
Okay, now I'm just doing a little segue for a second because next week we're gonna be doing this isn't in your packet. Next week we're gonna be using the quadratic formula. And so if you have the square root of 72, some of you who are very math savvy would say, oh, if I was going to simplify that, I can see it's the square root of 36 times the square root of 2, right? But
What if you don't see that perfect square?
what if you don't see the perfect square? I have a solution. It's pretty stupid Mrs. Hesslerism. 70, we break it into its prime factors, and this will help with quadratic formulas next week. So we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. So when I get this done,
Your different color.
yeah,
Red.
now I get out the bridal gown and I start making marriages. I know it's very corny, but I can make a marriage of twos and they come out as one, a marriage of threes and they come out as one. And so I would have 6 square root of 2. How many sort of caught that? To make the
And you don't have to spot that perfect square.
Because if they give you like the square root of 128 and you can't spot this, like in a quadratic, you can always break it down into its prime numbers and then start singing Here Comes the Bride, not too loudly in the test center. Okay, does that make sense, Sailor? A little bit? Okay. This group, Julia, does that make sense? That's if you get a square root you have very hard time seeing. So back to we're going to be using that strategy next week. So if we go back to the packet, now this is where, okay. So we're going to number 9. So 9 to the 2/3. So I know to do down and out. That'll be the cube root of 9 squared, which is the cube root of 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now, this
It's a
poses
different color.
a dilemma because
Don't do this in real life.
don't do this in real life. You have to make a marriage of threes because it's a third root. So don't do this in real life. So you see the answer will be the cube root of 3 times 3, which is
The
D.
square root, please. Or sorry, 3 times
The cube root of 3.
Yes, sorry.
Does that make sense to you, Logan?
3 times the cube root.
Katie, good for you? Logan, did you catch it? Oh, good. Julia? Okay, across the world. Good. Jacob, making marriages of threes is not allowed in real life. Okay, this will help next week when we're doing the quadratic. So let's try number 10. Okay, what if they gave you one like this? We have x squared equals y cubed. And I'm trying to find what does x to the 2/3 equal. Well, if I divide this one by 3, I have to divide this one by 3. And so that'll give me 3 over 3 is 1, which is y, which is answer choice A. Does that make sense? Good, Sailor. And good. Everybody good on this side, Silas? Okay, now this one has a trap. A is our trap. I'll show you.
Don't circle the trap, please.
Don't circle the trap. Okay. I'll put,
It is a trap though, right?
no, don't pick, yes, it's a trap. Okay, let's try this one, which would be in the very hard section. So I'm going to do up and under. So this will be A to the 3/4 times A to the 2/5, right? Now, a lot of kids would just multiply these and get 6/20 and reduce.
Math police.
Math police. I don't have a math police whistle.
They will pull you over for this.
Yeah, they'll pull you over. Because when you add fractions, because I have the same base and I'm just adding
You need a common.
denominator, right? If I'm adding a half and a third, I have to get a common denominator, which would be 6, right? So here, the common denominator between 4 and 5 would be 20. This would definitely be an end zone problem. So I multiply this by 5, I multiply this by 5. I multiply this by 4 to get 20. 4 times 2 is 8. Now I have a common denominator, so I can add the exponents, and I will get a to the 23 over 20, which is answer choice D. So I know this is a bright group. We're really blessed. Do you see how this would be the trap and how this is how you have to proceed? Nodding heads, good. Let's see, across the world. Nodding heads, good. I don't know. I don't see Jacob.
You doesn't keep going up. See how there's still an arrow there?
There's Jacob.
Like I think you go down twice here.
Okay.
Just keep going until the arrow goes away.
Yeah. So Dominic, you're good with this one? That would be a hard one in the end zone. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Okay, we're going to try some here. So, if you were in a live classroom, any number to the 0 power is 1, right? So this is 1. 0 to anything is 0. It looks like a heart for Valentine's Day. That was weird. Plus, change the sign. So I really have 1 plus 0 plus 1, which would be 2. Thank you, College Board, for 10 points. Everybody good with that one? Okay, with this one, with the law of exponents, what I have to do is I distribute this 4. So this will be x to the 5/4 to the 4th power times x to the 4th to the 4th power, which would be x to the 5th, because the 4s will cancel, times x to the 16th. And I add 5 and 16 and I get 21. Okay, everybody good here? Sailor, Jacob, and Dominic. Okay, other group. Silas has got his thumb up already. Katie, you're good, sweetheart? Okay. This one is a very difficult one. And I notice I have a lot of high score people on here, so we want to help every way we can. So that's why we sometimes put the hard ones on. So let's break it down simply. If I have x to the -4th, I change the 4, change the sign. That'll be, I just bring that downstairs. Y stays upstairs. You can see I taught middle school. 3, change the floor, change the sign. So this will be x cubed because I brought it down to the denominator. Now I can cross multiply. So I will have yx cubed equals 3. I was going to sneeze. 3x to the 4th. Then I'm going to divide by an x cubed. And so I will have y equals 3x. But the problem was nasty. It asked for x to the minus 1. And this would be very much at the end of the test.
So that's just 1 over x, right?
So basically, yeah, I want to just put 1 over the x. So to get 1 over x, that's going to be 1 over y, basically. So I'll do 1 over y.
You lost a 3 somewhere.
It's right here.
Yeah, but up here you don't have a 3,
Oh.
it's in a 3.
Yeah. Okay. 1 over x
3 over y.
is 3 over y. So that will mean
That's it.
that's our answer,
Yeah.
3 over y. Since that was very hard, especially that last step. Okay, so Silas, you good with that one? Logan?
You could also you just basically just say x equals y over 3, but we wanted 1 over x, so you gotta flip it.
Yeah.
3 over y.
Okay. Other part of the universe, we're all good here. Dominic, Sailor, awesome. Sailor, you should be a math teacher someday. Maybe. Okay, unknown exponents. Okay. So is this another page?
No, just do this.
Okay.
I think you got it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So you want to get like bases usually
Yeah,
with
so the goal is to get like bases, but we're also going to give you another way to do this one. Okay, 16 to the x minus 1 equals 8 to the x. Then x is equivalent to which of the following? So my goal is to get like bases.
So 16 is just 2 to the 4th, I guess.
So 2 to the 4th equals 8, whoops, equals 2 cubed, because that's 8x.
Right.
So now I have the same bases. So now I can set the exponents equal to each other, distributing the 4, subtract 3x, x minus 4 is 0, so x is 4. We did it for you here. Okay, you also could put the answers back in. Okay, you see that? We could also have tried, if we put a 1 back in, we would get 16 to the 0, which is 1, which never would equal 8. So you could put those answer choices back in. That's another strategy. Okay, going down. Factoring can be also effective in certain situations. So if I have 4 to the x plus 4 to the x, I could take out a 4 to the x. That would leave me with a 1 plus a 1 plus a 1 plus a 1. So that's 4 to the x times 4 to the 1. Now I have the same base. I can add the exponents. 4 to the x plus 1. Okay, let's go to the next
If
page.
you got truly stuck, could you pick like x is 2 or something?
Yeah, we could pick numbers for this one.
And just see what happens.
Yeah.
Don't pick a million.
Yeah, you could pick numbers for this one as well, okay? That's another tool you have in your toolbox. So let's try a couple of these. So we have 2 tools here. Give this one a try. We could put the answer choices back in, use the answer choices,
Or get them both in base 4.
or get them both in base 4. So 4 to the 2x plus 2 is 4 cubed. So now I can set, since I have the same bases, I can just do 2x plus 2 is 3, 2x is 1, x is 1/2. And if I put 1/2 back in, I would get 4 to the 1 plus 2,
Which is 4 to the 3rd.
which is 4 to the 3rd, which equals 64. So everybody good with this one? Dominic, you're okay? Thumbs up? Okay. Silas, I see you're nodding head. That's good. Gabby, you're good. Julianne, Logan. Okay, we're all good. Let's go to number 2. So if I have 3 to the 2x, I know 27 is 3 cubed to the 2y. So now I have the same bases. I can set the exponents equal to each other. That'll give me 2x equals 6y. Now I'm in the home stretch. I just divide everything by 2, and x equals 3y. Does that make sense? Logan, you okay with that? Good. Let's see.
Keep going up.
So everybody get this one? Jacob, you got it? I'm glad we have a break group. Let's try number 3. Okay. So this way, we could pick a number or we could factor. So let's try factoring. We would factor out at 2 to the x. That would be the math teacher door. That's 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. 2 to the x times 4 is 2 squared. Same base, add the exponent, and I would get 2 to the x plus 2, which is a. And if I pick numbers, I could say x is 3. So that's 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. 4 eighths is 32. And that's also equal to, I used x3, 2 to the 5th, which is 32. So either way, you get it. So we're good with this one, Sailor? Good. Okay, the next one is very hard. Logan, you're good with this guy? Either picking numbers. Okay, thanks for staying with me, guys. This one is very difficult. Okay, so first I'm going to pick numbers and then I'll do it the other way. When I pick numbers, I have to pick numbers that work. So we could say x is 3 and 12, y has to be 2. So then I have 16, which is 2 to the 4th, and my x is 3, 2 to the 12th over 2 squared. So if I have 2 to the 12th over 2 squared, I just subtract the exponents, and that would give me answer choice B.
But you could do the algebra way.
So we're going to do the math door. Everybody okay with the picking numbers? That's a strategy if you're knocking on the door and it's not going to crack.
Just erase it, because yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it the math doorway.
So she could solve for y and just do basically the same thing.
Yeah, it's solving for y and doing the same thing. You can pick your poison. So here I would have 4x minus y is 10. So minus y, I'm subtracting the 4x. Then I have to divide everything by a negative 1. Y equals 4x minus 10. So then,
So that's still 2 to the 4x up top, right?
yeah. So this would be 2 to the 4x.
And now she could just substitute the y in.
So the y is going to be 2 to the 4x, 2 to the minus 10. 4x is canceled, change the floor.
So 1 over 2 to the minus 10 is just 2 to the 10.
2 to the 10th. More about exponents than you ever wanted to know, right? Okay, so we're good. Let's go to radicals. Okay. So the end root of a number is x is a number r that when raised to the nth power. So this is our answer. A root of degree 2 is a square root where they don't put anything in. So now this is the important thing to notice. The square root of 16 will only be positive 4. Okay? But if I have x squared is 16, x could be a plus 4 or a minus 4.
But if they use that radical symbol, it's only the positive one.
Yes, if they use this, it's only the positive one. So let's try a book one and see if any of you are astute to answer this one. We're going to go to page 600, number 13. Okay, so the question is,
Oh, so there are two solutions, but there's no I on the test, right?
right, so we have x squared is negative 841.
So it's plus or minus 29i.
Yeah, we don't do i's.
But yeah, what does the I stand for? That was where I was going with it. It's
Yeah.
plus or minus 29i.
Yeah, we only want the distinct real solutions. So can you ever square a real number and get a negative? You should be saying no. So the answer is D. Everybody see that one? Good, Julia and Gabby, you're good? Okay, next group. So Jacob and Dominic, you're good?
And if
Okay,
you know I is the square root of -1, that you don't really need it on the test, but
yeah, you don't need it. So we're going back to the packet. Okay. Now, to add or subtract like radicals, this is totally legal. 2 square roots of 7 plus 5 square roots of 7 is 7 square roots of 7. But the math police will arrest you. You cannot add different radicals. It has to stay the same. And to simplify a radical, and you have my little way of making a marriage. 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. Threes would come out. Here comes the bride. So that's going to be 3 square root of 3. Okay, when you multiply radicals, you multiply the numbers outside the radical and then the numbers under the radical. And when you're taking the root of a fraction, it's totally legal to do this, to take the square root of the numerator and the square root of the denominator. Okay, next page. Let's try number 1 together. Okay, these are some hard ones on this page. Let me take this book.
Yep.
Okay, so we have to work inside out. So the square root of 16 would be 4. So we're going to have the square root of 4 over 4. So the square root of 1 is just 1. Thank you, College Board, for 10 points, right? Okay, this one I'm going to do very slowly because it's very involved.
this is where making those marriages might be helpful, I guess.
Yeah,
Something like that.
making marriages can be helpful. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I came up with this. I take full credit for the stupidity. So 18 would be 2 times 9. So that's 2 times 3 times 3
And 4a.
and 4 A's.
And you're multiplying all of those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get my here comes the bride out. So I can make a pair of 3s.
Sounds like we're playing poker or something.
So we take out a 3, one set of A's and one set of A's. So we get 3A squared. The lonely square root of 2 doesn't have anybody to match with, right? Because this might look like a heartache on the test. Let's do the denominator. So the denominator has 5 times 5 times 2 and 7 A's. So we take out a pair of 5s, A's, 3 marriages of A's. So we get 5A cubed with a lonely square root of 2 and a lonely square root of A that didn't have anybody to match. So now I don't have much space because our faces are in the way. So I'm going to take this down here. So in the numerator, I have 3A squared, and this would be very difficult, 2 over 5A squared.
It's a cubed, 5A cubed.
5A cubed, square root of 2, square root of A.
Right.
So the square root of 2's will cancel, and I'll be left with 3 on the top, 5A, because 2 of those A's will cancel, square root of A. And they don't, some mathematicians said they didn't like to.
You have to rationalize your denominator. You
Ration-
can't leave a radical in the denominator, basically.
Yeah, so we have to multiply this by the square root of A and this by the square root of A.
So the square root of A over the square root of A is just 1. So it's perfectly legal to do what she's doing.
Yeah. So we'll get,
Drum roll.
3 square root of A over 5A squared. Which is
Some of
answer.
them might, yeah, some of them might have a question about that. That one just like has a lot of steps. So if anyone has a question or wants to see Mrs. Hessler do it again, she can.
Do you want me to do it again? Anybody?
But this would be kind of tricky to do without the marriages idea. You'd have to see that perfect square 25 times 2. You'd have to see some of the perfect squares, but
Anybody in this group get it?
that would be like at the end of the very end of the test.
Yeah, that's getting into Harvard.
Module 2, like uber hard
Did you
module.
follow it, Sailor, or not really? Sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
Dominic, are you a sort of? Jacob?
Maybe.
What a face.
Yeah, I see some thumbs up. I see some thumbs up, but I see some like angry faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sorry. We
We over prepare you.
right.
So anyway, let's go on to number 3. That's getting into Harvard. You could have a great life and not solve that problem. I'm serious.
Why do they say you can't leave a radical in the denominator?
I don't know.
This just like seems weird to me.
I know. I don't know.
Some math rule.
Okay. All right. 3 isn't any easier. This one confused me. So if it confused me, I thought it might confuse you. We have 20, the square root of 20 equals r, and this is at the end of the test as well. All this page is at the end. And so this is our r, and under the radical is our t, but we have to make r greater than t. So if we have 20, and I'm just taking the square root of 20, which is 2 times 2 times 5. I'm making a marriage of 2's, comes out as 1. So I get 2 times 20, which is 40, square root of 5. Now my r is bigger than my t, and so 40 times 5 would be 200.
So you're saying R is 40, and then the T was left in there as a
Yes.
5.
The r is the 40, the t is the 5. After I took out a perfect square. Does anybody in this group see it? Do you see it, Silas? Katie, sort of. Oh, Katie sees it.
Same people.
Okay, Logan, Julie's good. Gabby, are you good, honey? Okay, good. Jacob, yeah, and Dominic and Sailor. Good, sweetheart. Okay, this one, absolutely horrible. This is the worst thing in this packet. I don't know why we have it in here, but it was on the
It's not that bad.
it's bad. So I like to do it my way. Jim likes to do it his way. My way is, look, A is 6 square root of 2. So 2A would be 12 square roots of 2
That equals the square root of 2b.
equals the square root of 2B.
So what
My-
she likes to do is that 12 out front of the square root of 2, she can put it under the radical as 144.
So I'm getting a divorce. Okay.
Yeah, so that's no, this one. That's the square root of 2 times 144 equals 2b.
Yeah.
You're putting this here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a divorce and I'm putting the two 12s
Under the radical.
under, I'm taking these 12s, going back to singlehood. And so,
Yeah. And then that's the square root of 2b still. And then this 12 went away because you put it back on.
yeah.
Okay, so this is her crazy way of doing it. I actually don't like doing it this way.
So B has to be 144.
Right.
That's when you sing My Cheating Heart and you put the 12 back under the radical.
Yeah. So if you can pull things out from the radical, you have to be able to put them back in, which is her approach. I just like squaring both sides, which is probably more how many of you were taught how to do this.
Okay, so we'll
You will go back and
get out of the divorce court.
Okay, so we're gonna start the same way she does it.
So we have 2A is 12 square root of 2.
Yep, equals square root of 2b.
Okay,
Okay, and now I just square both sides. Square everything. Square that, and square everything over there.
so we'll get 144 times 2 because that
Yep, yep.
equals
2 times b squared. Or no, sorry, 2 times b.
2 times B, divide by 2. So B has to be 144.
And we always like to vote on which way to do it. Who likes Mrs. Hustler's way? We will show of hands.
Nobody likes.
Nobody.
Oh, no, there was somebody.
There was somebody who likes your crazy.
Somebody likes.
It's a divorce. What were you
Who
reading?
likes my divorce way?
Divorce way.
Nobody. Oh, Julie Logan does.
I don't know. It's a little out there for me. I just square both sides, call it a day.
Yeah. So Silas probably likes Jim, right? Jim's way of doing it. Okay.
They're often different ways of doing things.
Okay. Thankfully, we're out of the really hard ones. Okay, let's sail on out of that. So when we have radicals, let's try number 1. So we're going to add 6 to both sides. That'll give us 4 square root of x equals 35 minus the square root of x. So now we're going to add a square root of x to both sides. That'll give us 5 square root of x equals 35. Divide both sides by 5. Square root of x is 7. How do I get the square root out? I square both sides. So x is going to equal 49. Who sees that one? Are we good with that? Katie, good? Silas, Julia, and Logan. Julia, Logan, you're good? Okay, thank you. I'm glad we have an intelligent group. Jacob's good. Dominic, you're sort of in the shadows, but I see a thumb. Sailor, good job. Okay, you go ahead and try number 2 and try to beat me to the answer. Everybody get 25? Oh, good. Logan, you're good with 25, honey? Gabby, you're good? Okay, thank you. Okay, let's try this one now. This is a little more confusing because we have to cube both sides. See, this is a 3. So if we cube this side, we have to cube this side. Then that'll take care of that. So we'll have 12x plus 28 equals 64. Subtract the 28. I don't know if you ever went this much into depth with 12x is 36, divide by 12, x is 3. Good, Julia, honey? Okay. Jacob, Dominic, you're good? And Sailor, with no school, I can't believe you're off for the week. So now we're going to try a book one. I'd like to go to 605, number 8. And a break is coming, I promise, because we're going to skip the complex numbers because they took that off the test. Everybody get D? Good job. Good this side of the world, D? Very good. Okay, good. Okay, so we'll go back to the packet. Okay. So this one, I can obviously, I'm trying to get X, so I want to square both sides. The only conflict is I have to square this 3 since it's in the parentheses. So I will get 3x plus 2 equals 9, 2x minus 2. Then I have to distribute the 9. 3x plus 2 equals 18x minus 18. Add 18 to both sides. I'll get 20. Subtract the 3x. 20 is 15x. Divide both sides by 15. I don't panic. I reduce the fraction and I get 4/3 dividing by 5. Does that make sense? Logan, you good? What a bright group. I can't wait. I wish I could know what you're going to be in the future. Okay, the other group, we're good with that? 4/3. Now, extraneous solutions, and I'm going to show you a trick with this. Sometimes when you square both sides, like we did do in our example here, you get an answer that's not viable. So for example, on this page, it shows you that you don't get a viable answer. So let's go to the book. This is the best way for me to teach you this, or show you how to attack these problems. Let's go to 237, number 10. Say, my book?
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay. So basically here, I have x minus 12 equals the square root of x plus 44. Now, you see how they have you do all this work on the page.
Your math teacher would have you square both sides,
You don't need to do
then see
that.
if there are any extraneous solutions. It's
Yeah.
a waste of time, right?
It's a waste of time. So all you're going to do when you see two values like this, 5, 20, -5 and 20, or 5 and 20, we're just going to try these, and we're not going to square both sides and go through all that heartache. So if we try 5,
I think that this one's a 20. -5 and 20. 5 and 20.
yeah, 5 and 20, I have that.
Yeah, but that looks like a minus sign. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, is that an and?
Yeah, that's an
Oh,
and.
sorry.
I'm sorry, it's hard to write on this. If I try 5, is 5 minus 12 going to equal the square root of 49? No. So A is out, and I know D is out because 5 doesn't work. So now I'm just going to try 20. So does 20 minus 12, which is 8, does that equal the square root of 64? Yippee, yes, it does all day long, right? So 20 works. Now we just have to try the -5, but we can see right away that -5 minus 12 is going to give us a -17.
Yeah, -17 is the square root of 39, I guess.
Right, so this answer would be B, and we solved it in probably 12 seconds. So you don't have to square these. You just have to look at the answer choices, okay? So if we go back to the packet,
I guess that's just because squaring is not a reversible
yes,
operation.
we're going to skip number 1. No, let's see. Let me see what I'm going to do here. We did a book problem, so I want to streamline the time because I got to leave time for Jen. We really don't have that much more to go. I promise you. Okay,
Wait, skipping down.
yeah. So we're going to skip this one. We're going to try this one. Okay. So I have to try basically a -2 and a 1/4. I don't have to square both sides. So let's try a -2. Is the square root of 2, it'll be a plus 14, equal to 2 times 2, which is 4, is the square root of 16.
-4. Right? You're putting in a -2 for
Yeah.
2. Yeah.
A -4? No. So let's try a 4th because that might work. We don't know.
Was that a -12? What did you say that was? 2 minus 14?
Which will
Or
equal
2
2
plus
plus 14.
Okay, right.
So we're putting in the 1/4. So the square root of 2 minus 7/4, which is 1/4. So we have the square root of 1/4. Does that equal 2 times a 4th? So this equals a half. And the square root of 1/4 is the square root of 1 over the square root of 4 legally. So does 1/2 equal 1/2? Yes. And so B is the only viable answer. Does that make sense, Sailor? Good. We try the other part of the world. Silas, you're good? Good. And this stuff is hard. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next page. We're going to be skipping. Okay, so the next one is radical inequalities. So let's look at the example. So first we're going to take
So you do it straightforward, but then she has to also make sure that there's never a negative sign under the radical,
Yeah, so I don't want a negative sign.
because
Right.
then we have imaginary numbers.
Yeah, which aren't on the test.
Right.
So if I have x plus 2 is less than 4 and I square both sides, I'm going to get x plus 2 is less than 16. So x is less than 14. However, I have to have something. I have to have something. I can't have a negative here.
So x plus 2 has to be greater than or
0.
equal to 0.
So x has to be greater than a negative 2. And so the answer for this one will be D.
Or equal to, yeah.
Yeah. So if I look at the one down here, okay. So f of x is greater than x minus 1. We want a real number, so no negatives under here.
So x minus 1 has to be greater than or equal to 0.
So we have to put this answer in.
But it's not be
No.
yeah.
No, x has to be, sorry.
Greater than, yeah. X minus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. Just write that first. All right, then add 1 to both sides.
So that one has to be C.
Right.
Makes sense?
Because it has to be real.
Yeah,
Or there's I involved.
right. So we're going on. Let's try this one. So first we'll add 4 to both sides. We'll have square root of 3x is less than 6, squaring both sides. So that'll be 3x is less than 36. So we know x is less than 12.
But x is also greater than
But x has,
or equal to 0.
right. So the answer for this one will be D. Okay. Now this part we can cross off. Yay.
Yay.
No, you don't know what a
This used to be on the SAT.
Yeah,
Not
keep
anymore.
going. It's all off the test because remember we have to multiply by these.
I mean, I'm sure they know how to do this stuff, but
We have a bright group, but it's off the test.
yeah. Yeah, we
Off
don't have to do the conjugate anymore.
No more conjugates.
Yeah,
Goodbye, 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 goodbye,
Bye.
goodbye. Keep going.
I'm trying.
Okay, so no eyes on the test. So we're going to absolute value and then we're home free, okay? Then you get a break. So we just, thank God they took that off.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, so you know, absolute value, anything in the perpendicular lines, if we have -6, it comes out at 6. So this one would be 2.6, 3.3, 4.2. I add them all up. Pretty easy. I just get 10.1. Okay. That's pretty easy. Let's look at number 1. This is a little tricky. I'm so glad they took that off, the imaginary numbers. Okay, so here, the function f is defined by f of x. This is a little tricky. Is absolute value of x minus 3 minus 1.
That's a 2.
Minus 2. F of m equals f of 0. So let's put f of 0 in here. So f of 0 would equal 0 minus 3 minus 2. That would come out as 3 minus 2, which would give us 1. So we want an answer that would kick out a 1 because they have to be equal. So if I try 4, I'm going to get 4 minus 3 is 1 minus 2, which is a -1. That doesn't work. 5 is 2 minus 2, which is 0. But look at 6. Absolute value of 6 minus 3 minus 2. So that would be 3 minus 2, which equals 1. And so we have a winner with C. So let's go to a book problem. Thank you for staying with me. We're almost done. So we're going to page 359. break just on the horizon, number 9. So give it a try. 4x minus 4 equals 112. We want the positive value of x minus 1. So I take this out. 4x minus 4 is 112. Add 4 to both sides. 4x is 116. Divide both sides by 4. Have to be careful here. X is going to equal 29, but I see I could get trapped here so easily. They want x minus 1, so my answer should be 28. How many see that it's 28? Good, Julia. Gabby, you're good, hon? Okay, Jacob, good. Dominic. Okay, let's try another one. Hold on. Oh, 717, number 4. I'll write this down.
So absolute value always has two solutions.
Yeah. So the absolute value of p plus 61 is 65. So I subtract the 61 and I get absolute value of p is 4. It could be -4 or +4. The only one they give me is B4. Sounds like a bingo game, right? Everybody get B4? Okay, good. Thank you. Let me see the other group.
Yeah, everyone, that one wasn't too bad.
That one wasn't too bad, right?
I guess we're in module 1.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're back in the packet. We have only a little bit left to go. I promise you. Okay, so let's try this one. Just a couple more problems. 12 minus k could be 3. So we could try that one. 12 minus k is 3. Minus 12, negative k could be -9. So k could be 9. But does 9 work in the other one? No. So what would work in the other one? Pretty easy. If I try k minus 8 is 7, k could be 15. Does 15 work in the other one? Yes, it does. So I would grid in 15. Does that make sense? Thanks, Katie. Okay, the next one. And I would draw a line for this one. So 2 different points on a number line. So we have
Minus 2 is your middle point, I guess.
yeah, I know. So it doesn't take but a second to do this. Two different points on a number line.
Color.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry. Nope. Hold on. I didn't mean to do that.
1 second.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
So -2 is our middle point.
-2 is our middle point, and we're 2 different points are 5 units. So -2 plus 5. So 3 would work, or a -5 would work,
-7.
which is -7. So now I know -7 and 5 work.
3, right? -7.
Oh, -7 and 3, sorry.
Yeah.
So if I put a -7 in here, that works. And if I put a 5 in here, or 3 in there, that works. So my answer for this one is A. And I think drawing the number line provides a lot of clarity. Okay, so moving on. Absolute values and inequalities. So we have to work on 2 solutions here. So first we do the positive one, which is easy. 2x minus 4 is less than 8. 2x is less than 12, x is less than 6. Then we try the negative one. Negative 2x minus 4 is less than 8. Negative 2x plus 4 is less than 8. When we divide by a sign, we have to flip this. Divide by a negative, I'm sorry. We have to flip the sign. Okay, so let's try this one. This is our little assignment. It won't take long. X plus 6 is greater than 8. So we know x has to be greater than 2.
What if
everything was negative? X plus 6 is greater than 8. Negative x minus 6 is greater than 8. Negative 8 is greater than 14, but we're dividing by a negative. Flip the sign. So x has to be less than a minus 14 or greater than 2, which is answer choice D. Okay, in the next page, let's try this one. If 5 is less than or equal to x minus 2, which is less than 6, what's one possible value of, what are they asking? I can't see it.
Are you on number 2?
Yeah,
The absolute value of x.
okay, the absolute value of x. So let's say between 5 and 6, we could
5.5.
Yeah, we could think 5.5 is right in between there. So if x minus 2 equals 5.5, x could be 7.5. It could be different numbers.
7.6, whatever.
Yeah, 7.6. Now, this next thing they took off the test. This used to be on, it was a horrible problem. So we had to teach it, but now it's gone. So we're going to basically jump all the way to the graphs and we'll be done. So we covered this a little. So all that stuff we just covered is off the test. Okay, so this one, the graph of y equals f of x is shown. What if it's positive? Well, that means it has to go to quadrants 1 and 2. So we'll flip this up and we'll basically have
And there's nothing in 3 and 4, right?
right, this will just go out. And so that looks a lot like C with a round mountain and 2 pointed ones. And then the last page, yay, yay, yay. The line depicted above in the xy plane above has the equation y equals x minus 3. We want to put everything into quadrants 1 and 2. So right at this point, we're going
It's like a mirror, right?
Yeah, we're making a mirror of that.
And nothing in 3 and 4.
Nothing in 3 and 4. And so that's beginning to look a lot like
Christmas.
Not Christmas. We had Christmas over the weekend. D, right? Okay.
Can you bring up your whiteboard?
Yeah.
All right. So it's about 7. I'm gonna say like come 10 after, I guess.
Back at 7:10.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So get a snack, use the restroom, and we're going to be doing grammar 1. Thank you, guys.
Oh, I had one question for you real quick, actually.
Okay, who is saying this?
This is
Jacob.
Jacob.
Yeah,
So, when you guys send out the emails for the Zoom links, you're
yeah,
actually sending them to my dad. I was wondering if I could give you my email, so when you send them out, you could send them to me,
yes.
Sorry
because
about
he's not
that.
always there
Okay,
to.
Mrs. Hessler will write it down.
Okay, what's your email?
Okay, my email is J Wolford, my last name, WOLFARD,
Yeah,
8080 at
yes.
gmail.com.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we'll fix that. Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you. It's just a little thing, but I was gonna
Yeah.
ask.
Well, take a picture of it or something.
This is my pocket.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Mm. All right, it is 7:10, so we should be back. And we're going to do grammar one, if you want to find that packet. Sailor's back, Jacob's back. Just going to see who's back. Julie's back. Hey, Gabby, Katie. All right, as you guys are filtering back, we're just going to do some grammar one. So you can find that packet now. So a surprisingly large amount of the test is just grammar. So it's an easy way to, I think, get some points back if you miss any of these. We're just going to go over sentence fragments, run-on sentences, comma splices, subordination, and coordination. We're going to go over some punctuation rules for semicolons and colons. And yeah, so this stuff's all over the test. I'm sure if you just took a practice test the other day, you saw semicolons because they're on every test. So we're going to talk about some of those rules. And the only homework you ever have in here is just go over your test with the solutions. The solutions are on College Board. They're also in this blue book. So most of you took test four. Just get it when you get a chance, look over the solutions to test four. So we're going to look at some of these rules. And then we will look at some sentence questions, or sorry, some SAT questions. All right, so let's start with sentence fragments. These are on the test, so we have to go over them. I know it's like review from eighth grade or something, but it's on the test. So anyway, every sentence must contain a subject and the verb in the proper form. So that's a rule. So not everything that is punctuated like a sentence actually is a sentence. They're probably trying to trick you. Like something like this, for example, is not a sentence. This does not express a complete thought. So here is the fragment, working all night long with no end in sight. What are we missing? Anybody have a clue or a suggestion? You really only need a couple things. Like this is a sentence. Jack goes, period, is a sentence. It has a subject, has a verb, has punctuation. What are we missing? Anybody?
Subject.
Yeah, subject. I agree. And Gabby was raising her hand to say the same thing, I think. Yeah, so watch out for stuff like this. It's not a sentence. At first glance, it looks like one, but that'll never be a subject unless we do something like this. We have to add one. Working all night long with no end in sight. Bill is exhausted. All right, so we're just going to make these fragments into sentences. I think we could just do these together. Okay, so here's the first one, and I'll give you guys some clues because I don't care, but don't worry about rewriting the entire thing. You probably just have to change the punctuation or add a few words, just like make all of your edits right on the page here. So it says not the Nile, the world's largest river located in Africa. So it's not a sentence, at least not yet. We are missing some punctuation and we are also missing a verb. We are missing a form of to be. We're missing the to be verb. Anyone want to take a stab at this one? I'll do the next one if you guys want to try this one. We're missing punctuation and we're missing the to be verb in the second half of this fragment. Where does the comma go? Whenever we have a non-essential clause, we open it with a comma, we close with a comma, right? Sailor, you don't have to raise your hand. Just you could unmute yourself and tell us.
After Africa,
Not that far. After anyone else, we open it with a comma, the Nile, comma. I'll try to pause where it is. The Nile, the world's largest river, and then we're also missing a verb.
So it would go after river.
Yeah,
Well, it could.
yeah, that's where it goes. You're totally right. And then we're missing the to be verb. Does anyone know where that goes? We have to conjugate it. We have to put it in the right form. So I
before
am, we are, it is. Yeah, exactly. The Nile, the world's largest river, is located in Africa. So now it's a sentence. That is a comma. Okay. Yeah. So we open it with a comma, we close it with a comma. And I'm sure there are multiple ways you could correct these. So I'm not trying to specify any particular solution. Maybe we could do it another way, but that's just one way of doing it. We lost a verb and we lost a comma somehow. All right, here's the next one. I'll give this one a shot and maybe I'll let you guys try the third one. Here we go. I was pleased with the tomato soup that had been prepared, although not finishing the rest of my meal. So I think the first part of this, like all the way up to here, is fine, but we're missing something from the second half. I'm going to say, although I did not finish the rest of my meal. All right, so now it is no longer a fragment. And yeah, so and sorry, it's hard to write on this tablet. It's not like writing on a chalkboard. I don't know why it's so hard to write on this. It's glass. All right, so I was pleased with the soup, although I did not finish the rest of my meal. All right, I will let you try number three. I'll read it first. It says, when in 1814, Dolly Madison saved George Washington's portrait, making certain that it would not be burned by the British soldiers. I think for this one, we mainly just have to delete something, if that's a clue at all. If we get rid of just something very minor, I think it will be pretty much a sentence.
You'd get rid of the when, I think.
Yeah, we get rid of the when. We're going to capitalize in, and I'm just going to add a comma right there. In 1814, Dolly Madison saved the portrait. Now it is a sentence. So watch out. These are on the test. So I know this is like middle school or whatever, but run-ons are all over the test. They're on every test. So it definitely makes sense to get used to spotting them. And they usually have both types of run-on as answer choices. So once you know that, oh, I'm looking for that type of run-on and the other main type of run-on, these become pretty easy. So a run-on sentence is just usually it's when you combine two sentences without a conjunction or without any kind of punctuation. So I'm going to introduce the idea of an independent clause. An independent clause is just anything that expresses a complete thought. So that same rule that we use for sentences, a sentence must express a complete thought. An independent clause expresses a complete thought. And a run-on sentence is just when we put two independent clauses together. We just smush two things that could each be a sentence together like this. Apollo 11 was the first manned space flight to the moon. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins made the pioneering mission. All right, so that's a run-on. So we have our first independent clause. Apollo 11 was the first manned space flight to the moon, period. So that could be a sentence. So could this. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins made the pioneering mission, period. And here we just smushed everything together. And we can't do that. So there are a few ways to fix this. A common impulse that students have would be to put a comma there. That is still incorrect, unfortunately. So I like commas. Commas are great punctuation. Commas are relatively weak punctuation. A comma isn't strong enough to join two independent clauses. So this is still a run-on. They just call it a comma splice run-on. And I've noticed on every SAT, I don't think I've ever seen a question about run-ons where they don't include both run-ons. They'll have this kind with no punctuation at all, and then they'll have the kind where they're putting a comma in there as wrong answers. There is another form of punctuation that we reserve explicitly for this purpose. It's the main reason you'll ever use it. What am I thinking of? Anybody know off the top of your head? It's its main thing the main thing we use it for.
Is it the dreaded
It
semicolon?
is the semicolon. So it's not dreaded in this case. It's semicolon to the rescue here. So this is fine. So it's so close to what we had with the comma, but the comma is wrong. It's wrong on the test. But semicolon goes right there. You can't put a semicolon everywhere. I can't say today is Wednesday, semicolon, pancakes are delicious. The independent clauses have to be related or contrast one another somehow. But we could join these are absolutely related. So we could put the semicolon right there. You can use conjunctions to correct run-ons. conjunctions like and or but, or we're going to go over the conjunctions in a minute, so I'm not going to worry about it. But as I zoom in, yeah, so that's the main function of the semicolon. There is only one other reason to ever use a semicolon in English. I am going to briefly mention it because I saw it on the SAT one time. It's a rare occurrence that you'll ever see this. But you know how you can use commas when you have items in a series? We played hockey, basketball, and football. We'd separate those sports with commas. You can use semicolons in a very rare instance. Usually it means that the items within your series each contain punctuation, maybe commas, and you wouldn't want to use a ton of commas. I'm going to try to give you an example from my head. Let me see if I can come up with something. Let me think. Okay, so for our cross-country trip, we stopped in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, semicolon, Nashville, Tennessee, semicolon, and San Francisco, California, period. So you could use semicolons to separate those cities because the cities each contain commas, and it would be strange for your brain to try to parse five commas in a row. That's the only reason you'll ever see a semicolon, except for the main use, which is to just connect two independent clauses, two things that could each be a sentence. Yeah. So, and I've only seen that one time on the SAT. I didn't even use to mention it before until I saw it on one test, and now I have to say it or talk about it sometimes. Okay, next we're going to talk about coordination and subordination. So we're going to talk about clauses. So we have coordinate clauses and subordinate clauses. So I'm going to start with the coordinating conjunctions. There are 7 of them. They are and, but, for, nor, or, so, and yet. Here they all are in this table. And you may have memorized these or learned these in English class with this acronym FANBOYS. Just a handy way to remember these. So I would remember these ones. I would memorize these ones because there are only 7 of them. That way you don't have to memorize, I don't know, 30 something subordinating conjunctions. You'll just know that if it's not one of these 7, it's subordinating. And this is just a comma rule. At the end of the day, this is going to be like a 5-minute explanation for a little comma rule. That's all we're concerned about is the comma for this, but they're different, so we got to go over them. Anyway, the coordinating conjunctions are and, but, for, nor, or, so, and yet. We use them to form coordinate clauses. So coordinating conjunctions can be used to join two independent clauses and fix run-ons. That's the main reason we like to use them. All right, so here is a coordinating conjunction in its natural habitat, right next to its comma. Tomorrow may be a better choice, comma. Sorry, I messed it up. Tomorrow may be a better option, comma, but it's your choice. All right, so that's our sentence. So we can join two independent clauses with the coordinating conjunction but and the comma. These could each be a sentence, right? Tomorrow may be a better option, period, but it's your choice, period. Okay, so we use these coordinating conjunctions from our table. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the idea of the subordinate clause or the dependent clause. It's the same thing. So they often have two words for the same concept in English. I don't know why, but either the clause is subordinate to the main clause or it depends on the main clause. Either way you want to think about it, it's the same thing. So every sentence must have a main clause. That's our complete thought we were talking about before. Um, yeah, but a dependent clause does not express a complete thought and cannot stand alone as a sentence. So that's a good way to test to see if it's a dependent clause or not, or a subordinate clause or not. So here is our sentence. And the only thing I've noticed that's different, punctuation. You see that this is just a comma rule. So if you start the sentence with the main clause and end it with your dependent clause, there will be no comma like this. Oh, it's hard to write on this. Sorry. Gonna write no comma. Ugh. All right, but anyway, If we start the sentence with the dependent clause and end it with the main clause, there will be a comma. So I'm going to read it both ways. Here it is in the normal way. I missed an exit while I wasn't paying attention. Is while a subordinated conjunction? Sure, it's right here on our list. Okay, so in this format with the main clause coming first, I missed an exit period. That is a complete thought. There will be no comma. While I wasn't paying attention will never be a sentence because that's a dependent clause. So that's a good way to test to see what it is. So no comma there. If I reverse the whole thing, while I wasn't paying attention, comma, I missed an exit. So there will be a comma if you start with the dependent clause, no comma if you start with the main clause. It's just a comma rule. I know it's like a 5-minute explanation for something that's just a comma rule. So here are all the subordinating conjunctions. There's a big table of them. Don't memorize these. If it's not one of these 7 coordinating conjunctions, you will know immediately that it's used for making subordinate clauses. All right, so we're gonna do some of these together. I'll probably do some of these. I'll let you try some. Let's do we'll just do them together. Here's our first sentence. It is a run-on. We do have to fix something. Here, I'm just gonna read it. Bottlenose dolphins have more neck flexibility than other dolphins. 5 of their 7 neck vertebrae are not fused together. So it's a run-on, and it was a comma splice run-on. So we have to fix this. There are many ways we could do this. What about a different form of punctuation? As Jacob was saying, the dreaded, could put it in there. Yep, we could put a semicolon there. What if we wanted to use a subordinated conjunction? I think that there's something from this table we could put in there. We're going to eliminate, well, maybe I'll ask you, but how can I use one of these subordinated conjunctions to correct the run-on? Yeah,
Since.
what'd you say? Yeah, since or because, either one, I think. Maybe I'll read it with because. Oh, my other question, comma or no comma? If we use those ones, where's since? There it is. No comma. Yeah, he's making the universal sign for no, and he's right. So we could just put because or since here. I'll read it the other way. Bottlenose dolphins have more neck flexibility than other dolphins because 5 of their 7 neck vertebrae are not fused together. If we turn the whole sentence around and we start with the dependent clause, there will be a comma. Because 5 of their 7 neck vertebrae are not fused together, bottlenose dolphins have more neck flexibility than other dolphins. So that would have a comma if we start with the dependent clause. If we start with the main clause, no comma. There's even another way we could correct this. Just make 2 sentences. Well, that's a common way to fix this. I'm just gonna put a period there, capitalize 5. Now we have 2 independent clauses. That's perfectly legal, right? All right, let's look at number 2. Pluto is no longer considered a planet. It has an orbit substantially different from the other planets in our solar system. So this is definitely a run-on. I think we could fix this in all of the same ways we fixed the last one. I'm gonna make 2 sentences. We do that. That's fine. We could make this a semicolon. That would work. These are related concepts, right? We could definitely connect these with a semicolon. Pluto is no longer considered a planet for this reason. I forget what they call it, like a dwarf planet or planetoid or something. I don't know. They demoted Pluto. Oh, we could use no comma because Pluto is no longer considered a planet because it has an orbit substantially different from the other planets in our solar system. That one was so similar to the previous one that I don't even want to spend too much time on it. Okay, let's look at number 3. I felt unprepared for the exam even though I studied. So we could test this. I felt unprepared for the exam period. That is a complete thought. Even though I studied will never be a sentence. That will never be a complete thought. Is even though on our list of subordinating conjunctions? Sure, it's right there. So what do we have to do? And I know it's really just a punctuation rule. Just a tiny little thing we got to take care of. Anybody? Sailor.
Take out the comma.
Yeah, exactly. If we start with the dependent clause, we would have it. Even though I studied comma, I felt unprepared for the exam, but not in this format. All right, here's the last one. The game was nearly over, yet the fans had not given up hope. All right, so we have a conjunction yet. Which kind was it? That's the Y in fanboys. It's right here. It's just a comma rule. What do we think? Where does it go? Anyone know where the comma goes?
Before yet?
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Put it right there. So we do use a comma when we have coordinated conjunctions and we're making coordinate clauses. All right, so and it was like maybe like not even a 5 minute explanation, a 10 minute explanation of a comma rule, but it happens. Next, we're going to talk about the colon. We're going to talk about every reason you will ever use a colon or see it in English. It's similar to the semicolon, but it has a different rule. So we're going to talk about all the reasons we'll use it, and its rule is different. All right, so in sentences, colons are used to convey that what follows the colon describes, explains, proves, defines, or lists elements of what preceded it. So those are all the reasons we would ever use a colon. But this is the main colon rule. An independent clause always precedes a colon. So something that could be a sentence, a complete thought, always goes in front of the colon. There's no rule about what follows the colon. Sometimes it's just a single word and a period. I'll give you an example. There's one thing that matters in this world: determination. You see how determination, it doesn't matter that that's a sentence. The semicolon, it had to be a complete thought that follows the semicolon. With the colon, it doesn't matter at all. Whatever goes in front of the colon has to be a complete thought. There's one thing that matters in this world, period. All right, so that's the rule for a colon. We use colons with lists. This is the main reason you'll see a colon. Oh, yeah, my friends and I played a variety of sports yesterday: hockey, basketball, soccer, and lacrosse. So everything in front of the colon will be a complete thought. My friends and I played a variety of sports yesterday, period. It doesn't matter what follows the colon. Sometimes it's just a single word. It doesn't matter that hockey, basketball, soccer, and lacrosse is not a complete thought. It's not a sentence. It's not an independent clause. It doesn't need to be. We use colons when we have descriptions. Here's a colon for the purpose of a description. A well-rounded education creates attentive citizens, people who have the tools to analyze the information presented to them. All right, let's check everything in front of the colon. Is it a complete thought? A well-rounded education creates attentive citizens, period. Sure. And now we can just describe who or what attentive citizens are: people who have the tools to analyze the information presented to them. It doesn't matter that that isn't a complete thought. It doesn't need to be. Okay. Explanations. We use colons when we have explanations. This is another common way you'll see a colon. The trip had been an ordeal. Why had the trip been an ordeal? Well, we got lost several times on our way to the shore. Here we have two independent clauses, two things that could each be a sentence, and we can put a colon here. So whatever follows the colon, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just a single word and a period. It can be two independent clauses, which is what we needed for the semicolon. The trip had been, the trip had been an ordeal, period. We got lost several times on our way to the shore, period. It doesn't matter that they're two sentences, two independent clauses, two complete thoughts, however you want to think about it. Okay, the last reason you will ever see a colon is when you have a dictionary definition. The word siamaki has particular interest for the psychologist: the act of fighting a shadow or imaginary enemy. So here, what follows the colon is just the dictionary definition of this word, and a dictionary definition does not need to be a complete thought. It'll just be something like this. Okay. All right. So we're going to fix these. Oh, maybe I'll let you guys fix these. Why don't you take like 3 minutes or so and just fix one, two, and three. These are everything we just went over, I think. Probably some run-ons. I see different punctuation. So yeah, see what you can do with these ones. You might see where you could use a colon or a semicolon, whatever. It's just give these ones a shot. We'll go over all of them together, but make all of your corrections right on the page. Don't rewrite this whole thing. Just you probably just have to change things slightly. Okay. I think it's been about 3 minutes. Yeah, I think these were all just about punctuation. The same rules we just went over. All right, I'm gonna read the first one and we'll figure out what we need to change. Here is the sentence. Oh, these are all true, by the way. So if you want to know what you need to bring to take the test or where you can have your EpiPen in case you I don't know, eat some peanut butter accidentally or something. Here is number one. In order to take the digital SAT, you must bring a few items. Your fully charged testing device with Blue Book application installed, your up-to-date admission ticket, photo ID, pencils or pens for scratch work, and a calculator. Okay, so I think we need to add a colon. I think we put a colon right here. Why can't we use a semicolon? There's a reason.
Because it's listing things.
No, it is listing things, which is the main reason we use a colon. But there's like a more important reason why we can't use a semicolon. And the semicolon rule was slightly different. So that's a complete thought. Yeah, Sailor's raising your hand. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah,
The second part of the sentence isn't a complete thought.
exactly. So the second thing, but with a colon, it doesn't need to be. Sometimes it's just one word and a period. So a colon fits perfectly. We can't unfortunately put a semicolon there, but I guarantee you that's an answer choice. Answer choice C is a semicolon, or whatever. All right, so that was the first one. These are just punctuation questions. Try the next one. Okay, Desmos. Desmos, the calculator built into the Blue Book software, is a much more powerful calculator than you would otherwise be permitted to use. At Eden Prep, we recommend this calculator above all others. It can facilitate faster calculations in many circumstances, for example, graphical. Okay, so I'm going to just put something down here. Just bear with me for a second. Just going to write something real quickly. I'm going to write least intensive to most intensive. Okay, so there are three ways to offset non-essential clauses in English, and they actually vary in intensity. So I'm going to highlight our non-essential clauses right here. Okay. So the least intensive way to offset our non-essential clause would be with parentheses. The next most intensive, sort of medium of the road way of doing it would be with commas. And then the most intensive way to include this non-essential clause would be with M dashes. If we really wanted to emphasize that this calculator is built into the testing software or whatever. Um, so if we open it with an M dash, we must close it with the M dash, but they don't. So that's one way we could fix it. We open it with our M dash, close it with the M dash. That's no longer a comma. That's legal. Or I see a comma over here. Why don't we just make this a comma? That would be fine. Desmos, the calculator built into the Blue Book software, is a much more powerful calculator than you would otherwise be permitted to use. Yeah, Desmos is pretty great, actually. It can solve things in radians, it can solve things in degrees, it can graph anything. It's awesome. Okay. All right, I think that's it for this one. It was just a little punctuation thing. These are all over the test. I know I think I already did one of these with you in the orientation. So those are non-essential clauses. Oh, basically, why is it non-essential? You could just scoop it out. If you scooped it out with the commas, the whole thing would still make perfect sense. We're just describing Desmos. We're not restricting the referent Desmos. We're just talking about what it is. So they call it a non-essential clause or a non-restrictive clause. You don't need to know those words. But anyway, all right, number three. EpiPens are permitted to be stored in a clear bag under the student's desk without approval. Can you imagine going into anaphylaxis when you're trying to take your SAT? That would be bad. I guess bring an EpiPen if that's going to happen. Other medication and devices can be accommodated contact services for students with disabilities. Oh, you know what? I missed a semicolon up here. This is a run-on, man. What am I? I'm slipping. At Eden Prep, we recommend this calculator above all others. It can facilitate faster calculations in many circumstances. Graphical. This could be a semicolon or a colon. Either would work. Hopefully you caught that and that was my fault. All right, last one. Okay, back to the EpiPen one. All we need is something right here. Sorry, right here. Other medication and devices can be accommodated. A good way to test for punctuation is just to sort of realize where the pauses would go because punctuation creates a pause and that would go right there. Other medication and devices can be accommodated. Contact services for students with disabilities. I like a colon here, I think. Oh, a little sloppy. Yeah, I think we could put a colon there. Okay. We're just describing the types of devices that could be accommodated. Okay. All right. So we're done with semicolons and colons. Now we have our actual SAT questions. Everything here is everything we just did. I'm sure there'll be some run-ons. I'm sure there'll probably be some comma splices. There may be sentence fragments. Yeah. So why don't you try? Let's see how many we have. Looks like we have. Ooh, we have a few. We have 9 of these. So just try them all. Go all the way up to finish question 9. We'll go all over them all together. You know it's a grammar question the second you see this sentence. Oh, it's hard to write on this tablet. I'm sorry. Grammar. They always ask about the conventions of standard written English. It's a grammar question. Okay. All right, I'll let you guys loose on these ones. We'll take a few minutes, maybe like 10 minutes or so, and try them all, and then we will go over all of them. Do your best on these. We will keep track of how many you got right out of 9. I think that's a good strategy. I'll put a note there for later. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, so we can go over these ones. You should be answering about a question per minute to maintain a good pace. And if you're still working on the last question, that's fine too. I'm not trying to rush anyone, but in the interest of time, we're just going to go over these. They're all grammar questions. This is everything we went over today. I see a lot of run-ons, really. Let's look at this first one. Just keep track of any that you missed because we're going to add them up at the end just to see. Okay, so it sounds like a science passage. A May 2019 study of great white sharks captured and released off the coast of South Africa suggests that these creatures survive and thrive despite possessing high levels of heavy metals such as arsenic and mercury that would be harmful or fatal to most other vertebrates. Scientists are asking the fundamental question, how I almost answered the whole thing. How blank. So which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? That's just grammar. They could have just written one word there after quite grammar, but instead they do that. I think they're just trying to overwhelm you. Okay, so it's a question, and questions have question marks. So it's got to be A or B. So it's either this, how are the great white sharks unaffected? Or how the great white sharks are unaffected. Maybe I'll just do a quick poll. Who thinks it's A? Any show of hands? A. I see a lot of hands. Yeah, everybody. It's A. Yeah, B just had the words in a weird order. Okay. Here's number two. Red Azalea's singing and dancing rock and roll music from 1976 is the largest painting of Alma Thomas's career. Thomas painted it with acrylic on three separate canvases. Blank allowed her to produce a work of broad scale despite her poor health and small kitchen studio. Okay, so answer choice A would create a fragment. We went over those today. So a configuration that allowed her to produce a work of broad scale despite her poor health and small kitchen studio is not a sentence. That'd be a fragment. Instead, we're going to make two sentences, which would be answer choice B. This configuration allowed her to produce a work of broad scale despite her poor health and small kitchen studio. All right, we're going to keep going. Number three sounds like another science passage. In this case, anthropology or archaeology, I guess. I don't know. Here's the passage. Researchers at the Royal Society B have used radiocarbon dating to analyze fossil evidence, including three giant sloth osteoderms, scale armor plates, found in Brazil to estimate human presence in the Americas to as early as 27,000 years ago. These fossils exhibit drilled holes that the scientists contend could only have been created by humans, likely worn as pendants. These pieces represent the oldest known jewelry unearthed in the Americas. So, a few strategies for this type of question. Pauses are often accompanied with punctuation in English, or you could just realize they're testing us on run ons, and they always give you both types of run on. Kind of looks like an H, make it an N. They always give you both run ons. They give you the regular regular run on, and they give you the comma splice run on. So just learn to recognize this pattern. It's all over the test, and you can eliminate 50% of the answer choices immediately. So throwing a comma in there, it's not strong enough with two complete independent clauses, two complete thoughts. It can't connect two independent uh, independent clauses, but we could do it with a new sentence, which would be C. That's a common way of fixing run-ons because we have two sentences, right? Like, just why are we killing ourselves? Let's just make it two sentences. That is what a run-on is. I don't know. It's at least one way of thinking about it. Yeah, you can know it's an independent clause, but it's like two sentences smushed together. And this is all over the test. If you look anywhere in this blue book and you see a run-on question, I think every time you see both run-ons. I don't know, pretty much, if not 100% of the time. So just learn to spot them. Make your life easier. All right, we'll go on to number four. All right, so I guess it's another anthropology one. The earliest confirmed pictograph in Australia has been carbon dated to 28,000 years, blank. Then we have As the Dreamtime, Jacurpa, and Songlines, Australian Aboriginal art represents the oldest uninterrupted tradition of art making in the world. Okay, so it's just a grammar question. They always give us a run on, like answer choice C. They always give us the other kind of run on. I'm not joking. Just you could spot these, commas place run on. It's still a run on. What they're trying to do will not work with answer choice A or B. Once we eliminate the run-ons, pretty easy. Let's make a separate sentence, which would be answer choice D. Known as the Dreamtime, Jacurpa, and Songlines, Australian Aboriginal art represents the oldest uninterrupted tradition of art making in the world. All right, so that one's not too bad. Let's look at number five. I know they're testing me on punctuation because all of the answer choices, except for one, contain punctuation. So let's see if we need it or not and which type would fit here. Number five, first recognized by Russian physiologist Ivan Pavlov, classical conditioning is a form of unconscious learning whereby certain responses can be conditioned through association with a previously neutral stimulus. Pavlov was studying the digestive systems of dogs when he noticed that his subjects would begin to salivate in response to an unexpected trigger, the presence of his lab assistant. Okay, so we have some options here. We have no punctuation, we have comma, semicolon, or colon. Why can't we use the semicolon? Anyone tell me? Anyone want to chime in? Just it won't work. There's a better choice. Gabby's raising her hand. You don't have to raise your hand. You can just shout it out. We're very informal here.
Because the second half is like dependent.
This is not a complete thought. The presence of his lab assistant, just a fragment. So there is something we can use, and it doesn't matter what follows the colon. It can be anything. It can be a single word sometimes. Yeah. So no semicolon, no comma. All right. So that was a colon question. All right. Number six. Here's a science passage. Learn to recognize both types of run-on. I'm not joking. I think every question in this blue book has the comma splice one, has the other one, the regular run-on. The supermassive black hole in the Phoenix cluster is the largest known black hole in the universe, and it is almost as old as the universe itself. It is 100 billion times larger than the Earth's sun, blank, consumes so much matter that it is growing by the equivalent of 60 of our suns every year. Okay, so they give us the run on. They give us the other kind of run on. Oh, sorry, it's hard to write on this. Commas place run on. Run. Okay. So once we cross off both run-ons, pretty easy. We can use a semicolon to join two independent clauses. It is 100 billion times larger than the Earth's sun, period. It consumes so much matter that it is growing by the equivalent of 60 of our suns every year, period. So we do have two independent clauses, two complete thoughts, perfectly legal to join them with a semicolon, but not with a comma and not with an absence of anything. All right. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so here we have one about an artist. It's just another punctuation question. I see colons, semicolon, comma, nothing. Let's see what fits. Black Gold 1, an artwork by Yinka Shonabare, consists of 25 circular canvases of different size. The canvases exhibit leaf patterns painted in black and gold on stretched Dutch wax printed fabric. Behind these, a large black acrylic paint splatter radiates outwards, a nod to the abstract expressionist painter Jackson Pollock. Okay. So is it a semicolon? Is it a colon? Is it a comma? Is it just nothing? I'm going to try A, but I'm going to ask myself, is a nod to the abstract expressionist painter Jackson Pollock, is that a complete thought? Nope. We could use a colon. So a colon would work. It doesn't matter what follows the colon. Sometimes it's just a single word and a period. All right. It's not A. Two more. It's another run-on question. They always have both run-ons as answer choices. It makes it so they're making your lives easier, I think. It's just like it's almost like too easy. In an experiment, an envelope containing a $5 bill was left protruding out of a mailbox in a manner in which the currency was plainly visible. The researchers performed this experiment first with the mailbox in a well-kept yard and later on with litter present in the yard. Blank, the first occasion, 13% of people who passed took the envelope, while on the second, the percentage nearly doubled to 25%. All right, so let's get rid of our run-ons first. That's a run-on. This is that other kind of run-on. All right, we can eliminate 50% of the answer choices immediately. That's always great. Okay, so the correct way to fix this one would be to create a second sentence. All right, I'm going to read the corrected version. The researchers performed this experiment first with the mailbox in a well-kept yard and later on with litter present in the yard. On the first occasion, 13% of people who passed took the envelope, while on the second, the percentage nearly doubled to 25%. All right, here's our last one. All right, let's see if we can see what they're doing here. I see commas and commas and semicolons. I don't know. Let's see what we got. William Grant Still, an African American composer, was born in Woodville, Mississippi on May 11th, 1895. His Symphony Number 1 Afro American was first performed by the Rochester Philharmonic. Blank is considered to be the first symphony composed by an African American that was performed by an established American orchestra. All right, we do have a comma splice run on. I'm going to label it. Can't join two independent clauses with a comma. We can, however, use a semicolon, which is the right answer. All right, add up how many you got right out of 9. If you got 8 out of 9, that's awesome. You're probably in the 700s with your English score. If you got 4 or 5 out of 9 of these, that would probably be about the national average, which is a 500 English score. So just add them up. I think it's important to keep track of what's going on with that. Um, yeah, I am going to bring up something from the blue book. So I think we just do a few more grammar questions from the book. You can write right in your book. I'm just going to give you guys a page number. We'll do that. It's not going to take much time at all. I don't even know. There's probably fewer than we just did. So I'm just going to randomly find some from the book to do, and then we'll be out of here. I promise on time. Okay, here we go. Give you guys a page number. Okay, this is page 191. So we can turn to page 191 and we are going to do 8 questions. 8 questions. We'll be out of here on time, I promise. You can just start doing them. I'm not even gonna, I'll just be quiet over here. Okay, many of you looks like you already finished. Some of you are working on the last one. I am going to start going over these because it has been 8 minutes, and I think we got to maintain that pace if we wanted well, we should maintain that pace. And more importantly, just in the interest of time, I want to get us out on time. So I'm not trying to rush anyone, but I'm going to go over these just for that reason. So here is the first one. I made little notes about what I think they're testing you on. Anyway, here's the first question. In 1959, marine biologist Dr. Albert Jones founded the Underwater Adventure Seekers, a scuba diving blank that is the oldest club for black divers in the US and that has helped thousands of diving enthusiasts become certified in the field. So they, of course, are testing us on punctuation, as they often are. And I made a note here that they're testing us on a restrictive clause. We're gonna talk about that in another grammar lesson, so I'm not even going to explain what it is today. But if you had to guess, does a comma ever precede the relative pronoun that, or is there no comma in front of the relative pronoun that? What do you guys think? That's what this rule is. It's just it's another comma rule. It's a 10-minute explanation for a comma rule. Who says no comma? I see hands. I see a majority of hands. Yeah, no commas right. That one was A. And we're going to talk about this in another class, so I'm not even going to worry about it right now. Okay. The next one, they're testing this on possession. I can tell that it's possession because of all these apostrophe S's everywhere. I'm going to read it. Okay, photographer Ansel Adams's landscape portraits are iconic pieces of American art. However, many of the photographer's early photos of landscapes were intended not as art, but as marketing. A concessions company at Yosemite National Park had hired Adams to take pictures of the park for restaurant menus and brochures. So they're testing us on possession, and I'll just quickly review possession. So here is possession. Grant's tomb. Okay, so this would mean that one man named Grant is buried there. This would mean many Grants are buried there. Maybe the whole family, Grant's tomb. So you put the apostrophe after the S if it's plural possession. If it's singular possession, it goes just apostrophe S. All right, so I have all these apostrophes going, and okay. This is unique for the SAT. You will never see this anywhere. They don't stack. You'll never see apostrophe this, apostrophe that. Just cross it off. I've only ever seen that on the SAT. This is something they've invented. So, what gets possession? Does the photo get possession? Does the photographer possess his photos? Probably, right? So, we have one photographer, apostrophe S, no apostrophe on photos, which was C. All right, so little possession. All right, number 3. I'm gonna go quickly. Oh, I have a strategy for this type of question. I'm going to read it first, and then I'm going to give you the strategy. The field of geological oceanography owes much to American Marie Tharp, a pioneering. Sorry. Did I just skip something? Yeah, I skipped a word. I'm gonna read the answer back. I'm sorry. I'm gonna read the blank with a word in there. The field of geological oceanography owes much to American geologist Marie Tharp, a pioneering oceanographic cartographer whose detailed topographical maps of the ocean floor and its multiple rift valleys helped garner acceptance for the theories of plate tectonics and continental drift. So it's a question on punctuation uh, and unnecessary punctuation, maybe. I have a strategy for this type of question. I'm calling it the stutter strategy. So the idea is that any type of punctuation is going to create a pause, and any unexpected or unintended pause we would consider that to be a stutter. So I'm going to read it both ways. I'm going to read it with a pause. I'm going to read it with no pause at all. So here it is with a pause. The field of geological oceanography owes much to American geologist Marie Tharp, a pioneering oceanographic cartographer. Would anyone ever say that, or would you say this? The field of geological oceanography owes much to American geologist Marie Tharp, a pioneering oceanographic cartographer. Yeah, you would never pause there. So that's I'm just calling it the stutter strategy. It's just something I invented, like this is Hessler's pick a number or whatever. Thank you, College Board. Here's another one, number 4. In her book, The Woman Warrior Memoirs of a Girlhood Among Ghosts, author Maxine Hong Kingston examines themes of childhood, womanhood, and Chinese American identity by intertwining autobiography and mythology. I'm going to try a strategy here. You guessed it. I'm going to give it a healthy pause. In her book, The Woman Warrior Memoirs of a Girlhood Among Ghosts, author Maxine Hong Kingston examines themes of childhood, womanhood, and Chinese American identity? Or would you say this? In her book, The Woman Warrior Memoirs of a Girlhood Among Ghosts, author Maxine Hong Kingston examines themes of childhood, womanhood, and Chinese American identity. Makes this question so much easier. So I use that strategy all the time. You can do it for anytime you see the only difference is punctuation, just try it. All right, this is a tense question. What tense are we in? Classical composer Florence Price's 1927 move to Chicago marked a turning point in her career. It was there that Price premiered her first symphony, a piece that was praised for blending traditional romantic motifs with aspects of black folk music and blank supportive relationships with other artists. Okay, so what tense are we in? I think we are not in the present tense. We have to be in the past tense. I'm going to try the simple past tense. Let's consider be. And look, the simple past tense is already in our sentence. Like I know it has to be be. I'm going to read be. It was there that Price premiered her first symphony, a piece that was praised for blending traditional romantic motifs with aspects of black folk music and developed supportive relationships with other black artists. So you can think of that as parallelism premiered, developed, but it's all just simple past. All right, I'm going to keep going. It can't be present. That would be weird. All right, couple more and we're out of here on time. I'm going to do my best. I really am going to try. All right, they're testing us on run-ons. All right, they always give us both kinds of run-on. A subseasonal weather forecast attempts to predict weather conditions 3 to 4 weeks in advance. Its predictions are therefore more short-term than those of the seasonal forecast, which attempts to predict the weather more than a month in advance. So they always give us the run-on. They always give us the comma splice run-on. And the correct answer would use a semicolon to join two independent clauses. 2 more and we're out on time. We're doing it, I promise. All right, it's another tense question. All right, in 1881, French chemist Camille Faure redesigned the rechargeable lead-acid battery. Faure's design greatly increased the amount of electricity that the original battery, which the French physicist Gaston Planté blank 15 years earlier could hold. All right, so we're talking about 1881. It would be weird if we were in the future tense. It's just not going to happen. We have to be in a past tense. Which past tense is it? Well, we have 2 events that have occurred in the past. I can tell which thing happened first. Was Faure's battery first or was Planté's battery first? Technically, Planté's battery came first. So we are in the past perfect. We can use the past perfect to differentiate between 2 different things that happened in the past and tell which thing happened first. I'm going to read it real quickly. Faure's design greatly increased the amount of electricity that the original battery, which the French physicist Gaston Planté had invented 15 years earlier, could hold. Right. Yeah, we can't be in the present tense. We can't be in the future tense. All right, here's our last one, and we're going to be done on time. It's another tense question. I, I, I wrote all over it. Sorry. Which tense are we in? Are we in the present with a singular subject? Are we in the present tense with a plural subject? Are we in the present tense with the plural subject, or are we in the present perfect with a plural subject? So plural subjects take plural verb forms, singular subjects take singular verb forms, and we just have to figure out the tense as well. All right, so here is the passage. The African Games co-production market, one of over 180 annual international conferences supporting video game development, blank the growth of the African gaming industry by helping startup studios in Africa find partners. Okay, so we just have to figure out, is the subject singular or plural? Because then we can eliminate a lot of answer choices. The subject is singular, right there. We're talking about one market, the African co-production market, one of over 180 annual international conferences supporting video game development. We don't care about the non-essential clause. So it promotes, present tense, the growth of the African gaming industry by helping startup studios in Africa find partners. Yeah, so all the other ones have plural subjects. They promote, they are promoting, they have promoted, but it's not they, it's an it, it's singular. Okay, add up how many you got right out of 8. It's important to keep track of this. If you missed half of them, that would be the national average. That would be about a 500 SAT score. If you're getting 7 out of 8 or 8 out of 8, you're doing awesome. You're doing awesomely at this, and you're going to get a great SAT score in the 700s for sure. I'm not going to keep yapping. I'm not going to keep us. So just be sure to go over your practice test with the solutions. The solutions are both on the College Board. The solutions are also in your blue book. And I'm gonna sign us off, and you can just wave goodnight or say see ya or whatever. I don't care. I'm not gonna keep us. So we're done on time. Good night, everyone. Thanks for being such an awesome group.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Have a good night.